Hey Booktube, it's Tara, and this is the Nonfiction on Booktube Tag. I was personally tagged by Sandra, or it could be Sandra. I'm not sure how to pronounce her name, so I apologize if I mispronounced it, over at Pull Down the Moon. And of course, I'm going to link her channel that I faithfully watch all the time. So this tag has 10 questions and a bonus, and I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Thank you so much for tagging me over at Pull Down the Moon. First question is, how much nonfiction do you read? Not as much as I would like to. I'm actually a pretty decent fan of nonfiction books. Every nonfiction book that I've read thus far in my journey, I have thoroughly enjoyed. The ones I can remember anyway. You know, the ones off the top of my head that I raved about are Heavy by Kiese, Laymon, Becoming, Michelle Obama. There was one book by Lori Gottlieb called Maybe You Should Talk to Someone, which was actually a very, very good book, very entertaining for me. So I like nonfiction. I don't read as much as I should, but I would probably like to read a lot more. Number 2, what kind of nonfiction videos do you make or do you want to make on Booktube? None. Most of my videos are a culmination of all the books that I've read in a given week or in a given month, and I batch everything into one video. I don't specifically cater to one specific genre per video. So what's your favorite sub-genre of nonfiction? I'm not real sure how to answer that. I'm off the top of my head, I'm assuming the question means like maybe memoir or autobiographical or prose or poetry or essay collections. That's what I'm assuming that question means. I would say memoir and autobiographical are the most entertaining for me to read. Short essays about people's life, that would probably fall second. And then I'm really not sure what other subgenres there are because I don't delve too deeply into the nonfiction genre. 4, do I have a favorite nonfiction book? Ooh, I would say the one that I raved about the most after I read it is Heavy by Kiese Laymon. He himself read this book, and it's written in prose format, so it was spoken very poetically, and his life and what he chronicled was very moving to me, and by far one of the best nonfiction books I have ever listened to. And if I get a chance to read it, I'm sure I would love to read it as well. 5, what do you think keeps people from reading more nonfiction books? Probably the stereotype that nonfiction can be boring, can be clinical, maybe textbook-like or textbook-esque. I think people tend to read and gravitate towards fiction more so because of the escapism, and with nonfiction, because it's dubbed as being true, there's no real escape from it. So I feel it gets a bad rap for that reason. 6, why do I like nonfiction? I like to switch up my genres because I can easily become burnt out on just one genre. Typically, you know, if I read too much urban fiction, it all seems to kind of be the same story over and over again, or they all seem to kind of start to sound alike to me after a while. So I appreciate different genres in order to kind of mix up and break up the monotony of sticking to just one type of book. What's a nonfiction book I read because of Booktube? Ooh. Maybe You Should Talk to Someone by Lori Gottlieb, and Acacia over at the Chaotic Little Book Corner talked about this book in particular. And of course the cover was extremely intriguing and very pretty. So that's the only one I can think of off the top of my head where a booktuber recommended it. And oh, I plan to read Untamed, which I bought at Target, by, I want to say, Glenna Doyle. I think that's right. And that's a booktube favorite right now. I see a lot of people reading that book on booktube, and that's what I plan to read, one of the books I plan to read in June. So number 8 is, what's the best nonfiction book you've read lately? The last nonfiction book that I can remember that was pretty good was Bad Blood, and I can't think of the author's name, but of course I'll have a picture up. And it was intriguing, as it told a very compelling true account of a Silicon Valley startup and how she basically lied her way to the top. So that's the last one I can think of. Number 9 is, what are some of your nonfiction reading goals? To read more nonfiction. I have to go back through my reading list this year to see how much nonfiction I have actually read. I think, maybe 2 or 3 books, but to definitely up that count, just to add, of course, diversity in what I'm reading. Number 10, what's your advice for incorporating more nonfiction into your reading diet? Plan? I know a lot of you booktubers have a TBR and books that you plan to read each and every month, and so for me, being as structured as I am, I try to have TBRs, but again, I hate to set myself up for failure. So I have a stack of books like on top of my bookcase that I tend to, the ones on top, I say, okay, I'm gonna try to get to these in the month of June, and I try to have a good eclectic mix of books. So maybe for me personally, I can start incorporating at least one nonfiction book into my reading goals for the month. And then the bonus question is to give some recommendations of nonfiction booktube channels that you love. Unfortunately, I don't think I know of any. Not off the top of my head that I regularly watch or subscribe to. A lot of the people that I love to watch on Booktube are a very eclectic and different group and mix of people, and they read a mix of books, and I think that's what I appreciate about my Booktube circle. I get so many ideas and so many great recommendations from the people that watch me and I watch them in return. So I don't have any recommendations there, sorry. But this is the part where I tag you. So I am going to tag off the top of my head, of course, Monique from Monique's Book List, and Freya, The Introverted Dandelion, Dog-Eared Page, Tamara at My Fictional Worlds, although I don't think you read much nonfiction, but if you could do the tag, great. Kay at Kay the Reader, Belinda at Belinda's Book Nook, Infinite Pages, One Sleepy Reader, and Sarah's Reading Nook. That's a lot of people, but I tag all of you. So hopefully you can do this tag. Thank you again, Sandra, for tagging me. That's the end of this video. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, and I will talk to you guys in the next video soon. Bye.